Hi everyone, and welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hun.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. The wind off Lake Huron has a way of whispering things. Sometimes it's the soft brush of autumn leaves against the weathered dock. Other times, it's something colder, sadder, a whisper not born of the wind at all. In the quiet village of Forester, Michigan, the lake isn't just water. It's a graveyard of lost ships, a silent witness to heartbreak, and if the stories are true, the home of a ghost who has been calling for nearly 150 years. On today's episode of F-Bomb Friday, we will be discussing the ghost of Minnie, Quay, and some say she still stands on the shore, waiting. Forester isn't a bustling city. Even today, it's the kind of place you can blink and miss if you're driving too fast along M25 on Michigan's Thumb Coast. But in the mid-1800s, it was a lumber port, a stopover for schooners and steamships carrying fresh-cut timber down the Great Lakes. In 1876, Forester was home to the Quay family. They lived in a modest two-story home not far from the water. Their daughter, Mary Jane Minnie Quay, was a spirited young woman, barely a teenager, but already catching the eyes of sailors and townfolk alike. Minnie loved the water. Locals would often see her walking down the pier in the evenings, watching the horizon for the sails of ships drifting forward to port. And then, one day, a ship in particular changed everything. No one knows his name anymore, and maybe it's better that way. What's remembered is this. Minnie fell in love with the sailor. He was older than her, a drifter, perhaps, or a regular crewman on one of the schooners that often docked in Forester. And while Minnie saw a great adventure in his smile, her parents saw danger. A young woman's reputation was everything back then. And a sailor? Well, a sailor was someone who would sail away. But that didn't stop Minnie. She met him on the dock. She laughed with him beneath the stars. And if the whispers are true, she promised she'd wait for him. Then the ship left. The sailor was gone. And without him, Minnie's world began to crumble. The story spreads in different ways depending on who tells it. But somewhere in the gray Michigan spring, a rumor or a message made its way back to Forester. The sailor's ship had gone down in a storm on Lake Michigan. Sailors were lost. Among them, it was said, was Minnie's love. The villagers remember seeing her after that. The brightness was gone from her face. Her walks to the lake became quieter and lonelier. The Quay family tried to pull her back into the world of the living, but something about Minnie had already drifted too far from shore. It was the night of April 27th, 1876. It was cold that night, not bitter, but cold in the way that Michigan springs like to linger. The kind of chill that wraps around your bones and doesn't let go. Minnie was dressed in white. Some say she walked silently through the town. Others say she ran. What's certain is that she made her way down to the dock. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply climbed onto the edge of the pier, looked out over the black water of Lake Huron, and jumped. The town found her body soon after. They buried her in Forester Cemetery on a small rise not far from the lake she loved. She was just 15 years old. Grief leaves scars, but sometimes it leaves echoes. In the weeks after Minnie's death, people began whispering. A fisherman claimed he saw a figure on the shore one foggy morning, a young girl in a flowing white dress, standing where the old pier met the water. Others heard crying on the wind, not just any crying, a name, or perhaps a call. Then came the first story of a girl, a real girl from the village, who claimed Minnie had beckoned to her from the shoreline. She wanted me to come closer. She wanted me to follow her into the water. As the years passed, the lumber trade faded. Ships came less often. The town grew quieter, older. But Minnie's ghost? She didn't fade. People said she'd appear to young women, especially those walking alone at night. Sometimes they'd see her face in the waves. Sometimes they'd hear her laughter, sweet, soft, and just a little too close. Others claimed they saw her on the pier itself, always looking out to the water, always waiting. And those who believed said she was still waiting for the sailor who never came home. Now, Forester Cemetery isn't big. It sits on a slight hill, a scattering of worn limestone headstones and weathered trees. But there's one stone that draws visitors from across the state, and that's Minnie Quay's. Her grave is easy to find. People leave flowers, pennies, trinkets. Some say it's out of respect. Others say it's to appease her spirit. A long-standing rumor claims that Minnie's headstone is cracked and that when it split, her spirit was released from its earthly bounds. Teenagers in the area, specifically in the 1960s and 70s, used to dare each other to visit Minnie's grave at midnight. Some say they heard footsteps. Some said they heard crying, and a few swore they saw a pale face watching from the trees. One of the eeriest threads in Minnie's legend is who she appears to. For over a century, people have told stories of young women near the lake who have felt pulled, a presence, a whisper that's not the wind, a cold hand brushing across their skin. Some say Minnie is lonely, trying to bring others with her beneath the surface. Others say she's warning young women, repeating a tragedy so they won't follow her path. No one agrees, but the stories keep coming. Forester is quiet after dark. Streetlights are few. The lake is vast and black and endless. Stand on the shore on a windless night, and you'll hear it. The lap of water against the stones, the occasional groan of a wooden dock shifting under invisible weight. Locals say if you stand there long enough, the silence changes. It tilts. You start to feel like someone's standing behind you, watching. And then a voice, soft, sweet, heartbreakingly sad, whispers your name. Or maybe it's calling someone else. Minnie Quay was real. That much is documented. Born around 1861, died April 27, 1876, buried in Forester Cemetery. Her family's home is long gone. The pier where she jumped is nothing more than stones underwater now. But the legend of Minnie Quay has outlived the town's heyday, outlived its mills, outlived the ships. She has become a part of Michigan's Thumb Coast folklore, whispered at campfires, retold in ghost tours, and visited by people who swear they have felt her cold hand on their shoulder. She is both a warning and a mourning. A ghost bound to the lake that took her love. There are stories, modern stories, of people who've gone to Minnie's grave. Some bring offerings. Some just want to see if the legend is true. One young woman claimed she placed a single penny on Minnie's headstone, whispered a thank you, and turned to leave. But before she reached the gate, she heard it. Footsteps behind her, crunching on gravel, slow and even. She turned. No one was there. And the penny? It was gone. Every legend has a life of its own. Some fade with time. Others, like Minnie Quay, only grow stronger with every retelling. Maybe she's a lost soul, still waiting for the sailor who never came. Maybe she's a jealous spirit, luring others to share her fate. Maybe she's just the wind on Lake Huron, playing tricks on lonely travelers. And if you ever find yourself in Forester on a still night and you wander too close to the shoreline and you hear a soft voice calling to you from the water, don't follow it, because some whispers are not meant for the living. Minnie Quay's story is a haunting reminder of love, loss, and the way grief can echo long after death. Whether ghost or legend, her presence has shaped Forester for nearly a century and a half. And for those who live there, her story isn't just a campfire tale, it's home. Locals swear they've seen her, drifting along the shoreline in a white dress, her eyes glassy and sad, her feet never quite touching the ground. Others say she appears only to the broken-hearted, those who stand too close to the edge, staring into the same dark waters that claimed her. They say on quiet nights in Forester, Michigan, when the moon hangs heavy over Lake Huron, you can still hear her, a voice, young, fragile, and forever waiting, calling out to the dark water, still searching for the sailor she loved, or maybe searching for someone new to join her beneath the waves. Well, I've never heard of that story before.
I can't tell you if I've heard the story before, but it's so reminiscent of other stories that I've heard. The Widow's Peak stories, where the sailor's wife is waiting on the shore and he never comes home, and it's a tale of sorrow and loss. And it's one as old as time. As long as men have been traveling the seas and the open water, not everybody comes back, especially back then. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when you think about it. Her life was just beginning, and in her mind, her life was ending. She was desperately in love with this sailor. Her parents forbid her to see him. She was quite young. Rightfully so, her parents were concerned because this man was in and out all the time. Who knows if he was ever going to come back, and who knew if he had girlfriends at other ports. They were right to be concerned for her well-being.
And at 15, that is when it hits you the hardest, right?
Right.
Your first love, a sailor, mystery, intrigue. I can see why she fell for him, but man, to be so heartbroken that you would kill yourself, I could never do that. Deal with the heartbreak, man.
Her grave is still there. A lot of people will go and to pay homage to her. I actually had this story on the back burner for a little bit, and I don't think I hit anything in the thumb area before.
Well, this is a great story, hon. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, do you want to sign us out?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I see Minnie under there, I'm going to give her a great big hug.
Yeah, I think she needs one.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Hey, we will see you again on Malice Monday.
We'll see you on Monday.